Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to be going over my Fractal gig rig. I've been using this rig, or at least a version of this rig, for over a year now. In this particular setup, it's probably been like this for around 5 months. I got Fractal Edit pulled up so we can take a look at what's going on with my patches and the effects. I've been talking about doing this video for a while and I'm just now getting around to it. I'm sorry about that, but we're going to go through everything in detail. I got a camera on the pedal board, which is, the Fractal's kind of hard to pick up on camera, so I also got the Fractal Edit going so we can see the details of everything. So let's take a look at this pedal board. So down here, basically, I need to clean this up a little bit better, but I went to Lowe's, I bought a piece of wood for $8 and I cut it to the size I wanted it because I have this carrying case that I wanted it to fit in. Got my wireless, which I haven't been using because it's broken, so I'm just plugging straight in right now. And then we got 2 expression pedals. They do some different things. This one is either a volume or a wah, and we'll go through how we change that. And then this right here is my main delay, solo delay volume. So I can just change that. So it's always on. So if I just have it all the way back, it turns the delay off. And if I turn it all the way on, the delay is full on, which is kind of a lot. And then we'll go through my button layout because I've really spent a lot of time figuring out what the best button layout is for me. And I used to use about 3 different kind of screens on the FM3. And now I'm down to just 2 kind of sets that I typically go to, and maybe a third. Yeah, we'll go through that later. So let's look at what we got going on. So listen to it now. Actually, I don't play this rig very much at home, so it's kind of interesting. So it's kind of wet. The amp block, we have the Friedman BE. I went with the 2010 version. I tried some different models, and I kind of just settled on this one. I think it sounds really, really nice. And everything's apparently pretty much noon. So that's my basic tone. I don't have a clean sound. Clean sound is just the volume knob. So if I, you know. So that's kind of how I get through it. I don't really need a super clean sound for this gig. Cleanest I probably will go is this. And what I've done is I used to run, if we look like over here, I used to run an overdrive block. And then also back here, I'd have a solo boost block. And I've actually got my CPU down to 61%. I was, with those and some other things I had going on, I was running kind of close to max. I was probably like 85%, and sometimes it would hit the max. I was running out. So I had to do some consolidating, and I didn't really like the sound of the tube screamer that much. So what I did going down to the pedal board here is these first 2 buttons boost. So that's just a volume boost. Let's hear, hopefully I don't clip the interface here. There's no boost. What I actually did, so this boost is actually not a pedal, it's actually this level knob right here on the amp itself. So this button, I have it set up to change. So it's going up 3.2 dB. So I have that, and that actually saved a lot of CPU power because before I had a graphic EQ that I was just boosting the volume up and maybe doing a little bit of EQ going on there. So that's what we had going on there. And then what I did with the drive is actually, if we look at the gain knob, the gain's at 5.24, hit the drive button, cranks all the way up to 9.02. So we have. And for me doing that, I preferred the sound of that, but also it saved a lot of CPU so I could do some other things. I think doing those 2 buttons like that with using the actual volume of the amp and the gain of the amp just saves a lot of CPU, but also I like the sound better and I like how it works better. Some always on effects I have is this reverb number 1, which I chose the large spring reverb right now. I either like that or a nice large plate reverb. It really depends. I think I have on another channel. Let me see which channel. Oh, I guess I deleted it. I had before I had a plate pulled up, but I changed it to a spring. And then I have a, if you listen, a slight delay. I think is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. It's a mono tape, and it's just doing 1 or 2 repeats. Very just subtly. Let me turn the reverb off actually. There it is. Oh, it's got more repeats than I thought. So what I've done actually, if we go back down to my pedal board, it's if I hold the boost down, we go into, so here's my normal sound, which is all that wet sound. If I hold the boost down, it changes scenes to a dry scene. There we go, which turns everything off. So if I hold down the boost button, go back, hold it, this will go back to my normal patch. So I got that set up. So now for my next view, so this is right now is boost, drive, and then tap tempo or tuner. We hold down the drive button, goes to a new view, which you can't see unfortunately, but I'll tell you what it is. So it's boost again on the left, so I wanted that on the same screen here. Then I got a chorus, which we'll just demonstrate what that sounds like. So if I want a chorus, I can throw that on there. And then the boost does the same exact thing. I'm pretty sure if I hold it down, it'll go, yeah, if I hold that boost down again, it'll go, sorry, you can't see my knees in the way. It'll go to the dry patch, or dry scene. Now, this button that says volume, you can't see it on the screen, but this far right button says volume. If we tap that, what that does, because right now this is a volume pedal. You know, if I want that for whatever particular song that we're doing, I just have to hit the this button. Now it goes to a wah scene, and it turns on, and now this is a wah-wah pedal. Which I have it set where, you know, if it holds on the toe position for a certain amount of time, it turns off. And so we got just a crybaby wah going on there. And then usually I'll probably go to the more gainy sound, throw in some delay. So that's what we got going on there. That's actually pretty much everything. Let's go back. The one last thing that I occasionally, depending on the song, will go to is, so we're back on like screen 2 here. If we hit the right button, hold that down, goes to another screen, which has my just reverb control. So the far right, I have it set where I can go through 3 different reverb sounds, which I only use 2 really. So if I hit this now, we go to this very ambient, I forget what they call this one, but it, got that really pretty reverb right there. I use that for a few songs on a few different things going right there. And then, so what do I do there? So if I go from there, if I hold the reverb, this middle button, I go back to my main screen, which is my starting layout. So that's kind of how I navigate. I know it's hard to see on there. So we're on the main screen, hold the middle button down, goes to a few more buttons. Hold the right button, goes to that one. And then to get back to my normal screen, I just hold the middle button again. But 99% of the time, I'm just doing this. So if I just hold the middle button down, I'll go to that screen, which allows me to change the wah or the chorus, or I just stay on down here by holding the middle. So most of my navigation is the middle button. And then sometimes I'll hold the boost down if I want to go super dry, which is rare, honestly. Alright, so let's get into some of the cool stuff. Let's look at the delay. I'm using the main delay. So that's going to be right here on the, if I blend it in. There's that. So what that delay is the 2290 with some modulation on there. And I'm not sure if I can demonstrate how much modulation. Let me crank it all the way up. Let's hear that. So that's what that sounds like. And then let's get into the IRs. This actually made a massive difference on my overall sound. So also, if we look at the routing here, is I have a signal path going to output 2. If I want to go, I used to go into a my return of my amp's effects loop so I could have a real cab on stage. I really love doing that. So I just split it off right here. And I went 1/4 inch out of output 2 into my amp. And then the main still would go here to the PA. So what we got on the cab, and this, I changed this probably back in July, August or something. And before I was using the stock speaker simulators or whatever, but I downloaded some on-hammer greenback IRs. And so right now what we have is a blend of some kind of greenback. One has a 57 on it, that's the main one, and then one has a 121. Let's actually mute the 121. So that's the 57 by itself. And then let's hear the 121 by itself. A lot of low end compared to the 57. But live through a cranked PA, this sounds really, really nice. Sweet. Yeah, that's my Fractal gig rig right there. It's pretty simple. I don't use many effects at all. Everything's consolidated on this little pedal board. Got some cool expression options here with control and delay and wah and volume. And a lot of it, I just kind of keep it simple, just use my volume knob. I found my preferred amp on here, which is the Friedman. And I dig it. And so I actually want to work on a rig, if I can figure out how it's possible, of using the Friedman IR-X, but use the effects, maybe use it for cable method or something with the Fractal, where I can use all my amp sounds out of the Friedman, because I really, really dig how that sounds. But it's cool to have all the effects and everything in this unit and be able to control it. So I'm trying to figure out how, or if that's possible, or if that will sound good, but I want to do that sometime in the future, because I mean, I use the Friedman sound on here, and I really think the Friedman IR-X beats the Friedman model on the Fractal. But obviously the Friedman IR-X doesn't have a bunch of effects and things like that, so if I could blend the two, that'd be amazing. Anyways, that's been my Fractal gig rig. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it, and I'll see you guys back next time.